Act to the podcast. What's up, people? Episode 61. Back in the building. How y'all doing out there?
Hey.
What is it?
61.
You gonna get them backwards?
No. That's your backwards.
61. Episode 61. Can't believe it. We back. How y'all doing? What's up out there? With y'all. Hope y'all good out there. Hope your family's good. We good. Act to the podcast. Episode 61.
You got like some bang action going on, but go ahead.
You can follow us at act2thepodcast.com. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Anchor. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Breaker. You can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on Tickety TikTok. You can follow us on Radio Public. And you can follow us on Spotify. I got them all.
It's 10 though. Act2thepodcast.com.
I said that first. Act2thepodcast.com. Facebook, Anchor, Instagram, Breaker, YouTube, TikTok, Radio Public, Spotify.
Okay.
Google Podcasts.
Yes.
Google Podcasts.
Well, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right. I know it's 10.
It's 10. You can follow us on all 10 of them platforms. Like, share, engage. We appreciate all that. Appreciate y'all being a fan. Act to the podcast, episode 61. International Walton building.
Your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
How y'all be? How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
How are you?
I am doing well. I feel good. I'm good.
I had broke out in a little sweat already.
See, I knew it. I knew he would. He's a sweater. I am not a sweater. Can I tell y'all something? I don't wear deodorant.
She had her armpits taken out.
Like,
who the fuck wears deodorant when they got no armpits?
I have armpits, but I did have surgery under my arms previously. But I'm not a sweater. Like, I gotta like run a marathon to sweat. Like, I don't wear deodorant, but my underarms don't perspire. Like,
but you don't have to run a marathon to stink.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, you know my underarms, like, it could be the hottest day, and my underarms not gonna be a problem. Like, I make sure, I'm clean. Ain't no hygiene issues going on. But he's a sweater.
But the next day they might be a problem. That's what I'm saying. Like, she ain't gonna sweat, but that ain't gonna stop her from stinking.
But they rarely ever stink. Like, if I do a hard workout.
In 21 years, I probably walk past me after a workout or something like that, maybe 3 to 5 times. In
21 years, yeah. Like but
try your hoagie at the store on the way home.
But it's after a workout or us doing something vigorous. But like that was like, maybe that was TMI, but he's mentioned sweat. I thought of deodorant. We talk about transparency, live our truths. That's our truths. I don't spend money on deodorant. Like, I just don't have to, so I get to save money.
Deodorant in the house.
He buys deodorant for him, and if it's like a really extremely hot day, I might do it like a small little spray, but not really. I got to be careful about the chemicals. So that's just a little unknown fact about me. Share some unknown facts about you. What's something that somebody would be surprised to know about you? Like something really random.
That I never, ever in life peed in the shower.
You're a liar.
Not a liar.
You're a liar.
How am I
Babe,
liar?
You never peed in the shower?
Never.
Okay, so we really gonna live our truths. You peed on me before.
Tell people that.
Because I'm sitting here. Now that sounds really, really strange. Now I feel like I want to delete this. But no, that sounds, and we're not going to delete it. It is what it is. Like, it sounds strange and it was like plain in a way, like gross, but yeah.
That's pretty gross. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
What's the mental like? Let's bring this back in. That went fucking left and right.
Mental is, I'm an 8.
An 8.
Yeah, I feel good.
Down a point from last week.
Really? I was a 9 last week?
Yeah, you was Nina's across the board.
Yeah, I feel good. You know what I realized about myself? I'm an empath. I realized that.
Elaborate.
So I read something that said
define empath for me then.
So I
know what I'm listening to.
I don't know the clinical definition but it's like when you feel deeply
Know what it is.
Because I know, but I really don't know how to explain it. I don't want to explain it incorrectly, but it's like when you internalize emotions about somebody else.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like that. And it's weird because I feel like I read something that says a sign of an empath is when you feel sorry for people who hurt you. And I'm struggling with that in my mind, you know, just some family dynamics and stuff that happens in life. And I've been struggling with that in my mind, like beating myself up, like get out of your own head. Like, why are you like that?
Still not over it? Didn't I tell you to get over it?
Yeah, but that's the only reason why I'm probably an 8. Like, I would be lying if I said it was a 9 because that has been like weighing on me. But other than that, you know, we're great. So, you know, I'm great.
Let me just remind you, you're letting things that you can't control weigh on you. You let it take a point off your mental.
I know.
Okay, that's not good bandwidth. That's not good smarts. You know better, and you know. It's not like you learning. You know better.
No, I know better. I'm just living my truth and being honest.
I know, but I'm getting on you about it and being honest. Like, you know better, do better. Like, you can't let stuff you can't control take a point off your mental.
I know.
Without a doubt.
And I shouldn't. Things happen, so I'm working towards it. Hopefully tomorrow, or maybe even not tomorrow. Hopefully an hour from now, I'll be a 9. But if I'm in all honesty, I can say
I want you to be honest, but that don't mean I ain't gonna, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Pop your hand for it.
Yeah.
Work.
Work is an 8. You know, it's not bad. It's busy. I realize now it's me. Work isn't going to change. It's always going to be busy. They always going to want you to do 9,000 things when you only have the capacity to do 2,000. And it's up to me to manage that and how I allow it to impact me. Mm-hmm. So work is an 8 because I'm making it an 8. I think I've been doing a better job at not having really long hours. You know, making... I mean, it fluctuates. I've been logging off at 5 some days, between 5 and 6. Like, I've been making sure that that's my priority.
Okay.
But not every day has been 6.
So what if I say I wrote them down?
You been tracking my time?
Just saying. What if I said that? Would you still stick to those times?
I'm okay. When I say 6 loosely, maybe 6:08. But yeah,
or 6:15.
6:15 was probably the very latest, and I will stand on that.
Okay.
I will stand on that.
6:15 has been the very latest.
Okay. All right, I'll make sure. Right. If you weren't my husband, I would feel like that was like some real stalker stuff.
I'm right downstairs. There's clocks all over the place.
But why are you tracking me?
I'm not tracking you. Plus, I got cameras in the house.
Yes, and speaking on it, we have cameras in the house now, like, you know, alarm system cameras, and it's weird. Do y'all have cameras? Like, I know this is like a thing now, but this is our first. Well, it's not our first time.
Some people think that having cameras, and not like cameras in the bathroom or bedrooms no, shit like that, but you know, like
just
to
looking
watch
at the
inside of our doors and entrances. But a lot of people feel like that invades privacy. I asked my man at work. I asked Danny that. I'm like, because he got cameras a lot outside his house, and I'm like, you got something in? He's like, nah, I feel like it invades privacy. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, some people feel like the monitoring companies can see you. That I do know some people, and you remember it was that thing about somebody had hacked the Ring system.
Yeah.
So I mean.
I guess it's a possibility, right?
It is, but guess what? Anything you see, you ain't gonna see nothing. Well, you ain't gonna see nothing illegal. You ain't gonna see nothing like.
You might see a naked dude smoking weed.
You might see a naked lady going to the kitchen for an apple juice. But I'm grown and it's my house, so I don't want nobody to see it. But if you do, it is what it is. Finances, I'm a 9, so I'm good there. So I'll say 8, 9. Yeah, no complaints about finances. I hope that I never. You know, and I thank God for blessing us with resources, and resources don't mean we sitting on a jackpot, but that we're just able to do what we need. We have the resources to do what we need to do. Mm-hmm. We might not have the resources to buy every single thing we want, but we
retire.
Right. But we have the resources,
we don't have the resources to
pay
retire.
Our bills, not have anything disconnected, and so for that, I'm gonna stay a 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How are you? No. How are you?
I'm good. Today, out of the last 7 days, I feel better than I have all week. I'm kind of like, you know, I was in pain. My back was killing me. I didn't know what it was. And I haven't told you this, but when I have like back pains like that, or like pains that I don't really know what they are and they linger, like, I'll be thinking I got cancer and all kinds of, like, diseases and stuff. And I just be like worrying myself, and I don't know why. And then I think to myself, okay, you just older, take a little bit longer for you to heal. It's not like you go play basketball every day, like your body not in tip top condition. Like, you know, you work and you have a physical job, but my body isn't in tip top condition. So I be thinking like just the craziest shit, and it'd be driving me crazy. But I feel better today than I have all week. Like my back is good and it don't feel like nothing's there, and yeah, I feel good. But I be having those weird thoughts like, I don't know, I just don't want to leave you.
Oh, but I don't want you to leave me either. But I think that's normal. I think that's normal. You know, I encourage you, and you're a proponent. We talked about it last episode of taking care of yourself, going to the doctor.
Oh yeah,
and you know I'm
not
definitely
afraid
a
of going to
proponent
the
of
doctor,
that.
and I have that in line in my future.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know how we talk about, I try not to worry about stuff that's out of our control. Wow. Yes, it's not completely in your control, but it is in your control to take the preventive measures to make sure you're okay. But you don't. But you're not the only one. And I'll tell you this: we talked about, you know, PSA exams for your prostate for men, and I talked about mammograms last week, and it kept slipping my mind and slipping my mind and slipping my mind. Yesterday morning, I got up and I had a shooting pain through my breast. As women, we know that can happen. I think it probably might have just been me taking my bra off and whatever happened. I had a shooting pain. I made my mammogram appointment. No, I'm sorry. It happened the night before and I thought about it. As soon as I woke up the next morning, I made my mammogram appointment. And then I text Toya like, hey, when is your mammogram? Have you scheduled it yet? So, I mean, you're not the only one. And I didn't necessarily think to myself, oh my God, that's cancer. But I did think, let me just make sure nothing's wrong. So
I think it was part of that thing, you know, waiting on the shoe to drop type thing.
Yeah.
Like that was fucking with me a little bit, and it kind of does every once in a while. And part of my mental and feeling good is just that, you know, lately, the last few months since Christmas and before that, like we was in a whirlwind of stuff, handling things, selling our house. You was quote unquote sick, had surgery, had to be taken care of. You was down. We was buying a house. We was moving, and I just felt like, you know, like I kind of not like let this go, but you are the number one thing in my life. And now that you're better, I just feel like motivated to, you know, jump back online as far as the podcast, the stuff that I wanted to do in 2022, as far as where we wanted to go in New York and all that kind of stuff. Like all that stuff is still a thing in my mind that we're going to do in this year, and I just feel motivated and positive about those things now that, you know, for the most part we back outside.
We're resuming some sense of normalcy.
We in our new home and all that stuff, and we're not 100% unpacked, but you know, life is kind of like
it's
calmed down a little bit from the chaotic us going out rushing and buying houses, just trying to make sure you okay, me having extra responsibilities, work, you know, that kind of thing. So now that it has calmed down a little bit, I just feel like, okay, now I just have that feeling like, okay, I want to be more present in my show, put forth the effort that I talked about in 2021 to manifest in 2022, and do those things and just see where it goes.
So numerically, where are you mentally?
Mentally,
I know you said you felt better today, but
I'm still at a 9.
A 9, that's good.
Can't be perfect, but you know, a 9.
A 9 is good. I'm happy to hear you feeling better. I knew physically you were not feeling your best. I didn't know it was messing with you mentally, so I'm happy that you're better. How is work?
Work is a 8.
Okay.
Work is good. Work's an 8. You know,
you've been spoiled a little bit for like the last 2 years. You've been working really close to home. Even in our new home, you're closer than at your job site than you were in our old home. Yep. And that wasn't even intentional.
Well, that shit's about to change.
Yeah. but I mean, you had 2 years to actually longer than that, because even though you were in Philly at that other job, you still were close, and then you were in Jersey at a few jobs in the area. So you've been spoiled for some time.
Yeah.
And with gas prices being an arm and two legs.
It's a body.
Yeah.
A
body, yes.
Like, it's a body.
What's your finances like?
No-wave.
But gas about to impact that. It's like, no.
Hey, man. I mean, I've always said that gas could be $9 a gallon. Like, stop posting that stuff online like gas is going up. Like, gas is $9. Either fucking buy gas or get a bike or walk. Like, hold on. Like, you can't just keep gas is up. Like, they're not gonna put prices down just because you said something or because we're posting it online. Like, gas is high. What the fuck you gonna do about it? It happens every Memorial Day. It happens every Labor Day. Not to this extent where it's $7 and shit in some places, but still, where was we at that time where
Washington D.C.
gas was like, I don't know, like regular, like $2.67 in Philly. We drove to Washington and it was like $5.
Washington D.C. Yeah. Well, but this is the thing. Yes, you're right. The gas prices have always fluctuated. There's always been an ebb
war
and
going
flow.
on.
There's always been an ebb and flow. And they, want to talk about the pipeline. Like, to be honest, I didn't even know Russia had anything to do with our gas. Because before, they would always talk about the Middle East. When it was war, in the Middle East, they would say it impacted gas prices. Now y'all warring with Russia.
It's all a conspiracy. That's where they want you to look. So when some shit goes wrong, or when they want to take something from them countries, they can say it's about the oil.
Yeah.
Like, but, a lot of people thought a lot of people was like, okay, what about the oil in Texas? Like, don't we have oil in Texas? Why are we getting oil from Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan or shit like that? I don't know where the oil comes from, but I'm just saying there's pipelines all over the place.
Yeah, but I will say I understand, to your point, gas prices have always fluctuated. However, it is at a national high, and it is causing alarm because it will impact some people's finances. I filled up my car for the first time I couldn't drive for 6 weeks. Even before that,
4 months.
Yeah, I don't drive my car often. I'm usually passenger side, but I filled my car up and it was $80 and some change. And I watched the guy pump it a little more to take it to 81. Like, who told you to do that? If it stopped, it stopped. I don't need you to flatten me out at the next dollar.
Well, you want him to give you some change back?
What was the card? So he wouldn't have gave me change.
Well, I'm saying that's what they do. They don't.
Well, whatever. So it was $81 to fill my car. I have never, ever paid that much. I mean, and I'm grateful. Again, I probably won't have to fill my car again for 3 weeks, if that. But at the same time, that it will have an impact on families who, especially, like I think about my sister. She drives far distances sometimes to different job sites. She's a traveling nurse. I guess that's what you call it. But she's a nurse, whatever. She has to take the kids to school sometimes. She has to do dance school. Like, so there are some people who very frequently have to eat gas. That's a big part. That's going to cut into a big piece of your budget. And they're still going up. There's no... Like you said, usually around the summertime, they go down a little bit, but there's no end. Like, we don't know how far this is going to go.
They're going to hit the reserve. It's not, it's because at $7, $8, I mean, people are going to go ballistic. And you're going to start seeing, like a line at the cheapest gas station and causing a ruckus. And they're not going to want that. This
might be a silly question, but no question is a dumb question if you don't know the answer. Do buses aren't electric, right? They use gas.
They use gas.
So that may have a trickle down effect on. The supermarkets are empty because
it has a trickle down effect on everything. Petroleum is a commodity, and it breaks down to oil, to gas, to gasoline, to Vaseline, to anything that has petroleum.
But I'm just thinking about buses and transportation. They're going to have to raise the prices.
First, yeah.
Food prices are going to have to be raised because it's going to cost more to get food.
It's going to cost more gas.
Everything is we ordered new furniture, and it's going to take 5 to 7 weeks to get our furniture because, things are scarce. It's just really going to have a trickle down effect when this was the last normal week of life 2 years ago, and I won't say none of us knew it. Washington D.C. knew, but we were just finding out. But you think we are still encountering parts of this new normal. And you said that from the beginning. You were like, life will never be what it was. We will have a new normal. Like, you could never say things will go back to normal. Things will never be.
Getting kind of close. You almost hit me in the fucking eye.
Things
Just don't poke me in the goddamn eye.
Things will never be what they were prior to March 2020.
Wows and woes.
The wow, I would say, is just settling into our new home, acclimating, to the change, and just seeing our new house become a home. That's really it. I'm just really enjoying the process. Again, it's not like this is our first time buying a house, but being older, being more present, it feels good. It feels different. And I'm just enjoying life. The pieces fall into place, and just remembering it had to happen that way. We had to have that mad rush between December and February because God had plans for us this spring and summer. Yeah. So it had to happen that way. So that's just my wow, just the amazement of seeing, God's grace and mercy come to fruition in our lives.
Woes.
I don't have no woes. Okay. I don't have any woes. I feel great. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't have any woes. What about you?
My wows is I don't have any woes either. Because I was just in pain and I feel good, so I ain't gonna complain about anything. Mm-hmm. But a wow is just to piggyback on what you were saying, just being in our home, and I like I know like we did this together, but I kind of feel like, in a sense, like I did this for you, and I love seeing you walk around this house and just being comfortable and smiling. And like sometimes I sit and just be watching you and you don't even know I'll be watching you, but I just love seeing you in this house.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And it's nice. Yeah. So.
I love that. I love playing music while I'm cooking, and I'll be in the kitchen dancing, and I'll be forgetting about that camera, and I'll be looking like, is he in there? Like, I know he watching me on that camera.
I know he fucking sitting around watching you all day.
I know.
I go take a shit, maybe I'll watch you a couple, I'll see like, oh, she not in the kitchen there or something like that. But I ain't sitting there like
a creep
watching it. Johnny Brown died.
Johnny Brown? Oh, wow. The sad part is this. I see headlines like that, and initially I had no idea who you were talking about, but it rang in my head.
Bookman, if y'all know who you're talking about. Bookman from Good Times.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Bookman.
And it made me sad because, in hindsight, it makes me sad when you think about actors like that or people like that in our culture, because we talk about being typecast, and we know back in the day, like those blaxploitation films or shows like The Good Times, people didn't get paid their due, what their just due. We see JJ now doing Dynamite commercials for Medicare, and it's crazy because I remember hearing a story years ago how he refused to say that, like he didn't want to be known by that. He wouldn't say it in interviews. And now when you see him on a commercial, you think like
he'll let you pay him to say it.
You don't know what his money. You don't know what his financial status, and to have such a huge impact on our culture, and not really. And I don't know how what was that man's financial status or his level of success when he died. Like what his life. He
was 82 years old. I don't know how rich he was, but
hopefully he was. You okay?
I've never saw him in anything but Good Times.
Right, that's what I mean, like him being typecast.
And I think on their behalf, all those actors from them sitcoms, when they were in it, the Jeffersons, the Good Times, they didn't know the cultural impact that stuff had then. It wasn't the impact then. They just was doing it. So when people was watching it in the 70s and 1973 when it came out, it was like, okay, this is a good show. The shit wasn't cultural till the 80s and 90s when it started to rerun, and it was like, holy shit, Good Times. Like, it started to be a cultural icon. But when they was in the thick of it and making it, and JJ and James was fighting it behind the set about, because with James, he didn't like that black exploitation
No,
stuff.
he was a classically trained actor.
He hated when JJ acted
Esther
like
role.
that, and he bitched about the writers like having the show geared towards all that dynamite shit because he wasn't down for all that. But shout out to Bookman's family, not Bookman, Johnny Brown's family. Played the part of Bookman. Condolences to his family.
Booger.
Yeah. Booger. Love. Everybody, if they get old enough or experience love in some type of way, shape, form, or fashion, you want it to be true. You want it to be good. You want to be in love. Maybe. Some people, I don't know what that's called, but some people don't want to be emotionally involved with somebody. But for the people who do, you want to love hard, you want to be loved the way that you want to, and sometimes it don't always go like that. So what is love to you?
It's weird that you say that. Oh my goodness, it's so weird that you say that because I use this app. It's like a daily Bible study app, and it talked about I don't do it every day as I intend to, but I did do it this morning, and it talked about love, and it talked about how that word is used so frequently in society. Oh, I love this dress, or I love this picture, I love this restaurant, we just use that word.
Oh, I love her, I love him.
Yeah, I love this. Like the
and not even in a
message
sexual
that somebody
way,
posts.
just in like a general, oh my God, I love him.
Right, exactly.
So it's almost like a casual way of saying you like somebody.
And it to me, it makes me wonder, does it devalue the real true meaning, the real true emotions of love and what it really means? Because we're so off, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, my sisters or somebody else send me a picture of a outfit or something. I'll say, oh my goodness, I love, like, just expressing my approval of that. But it makes you, like you said, it devalues in some aspects you really loving somebody.
Why can't you think of another word in place of love that is just as genuine? That give me a word. I think as good as love. That
yes, like that's fire. I like it. That's cute. Like there's a lot of other things you can say, and not to say. I mean, maybe you do feel like you really like the way an outfit looks, but I guess love is like that higher level of approval.
Yeah, but you don't really mean what you say. I mean, I guess you mean what you say and saying I like it, I approve of it, but you don't love it. You just saw it for 5 seconds. Yeah. You don't really love it.
And you know what? It's weird because I think that has just been a societal norm because you think about social media where it gives us the option to like something with a thumbs up or to heart it where we love it. I mean, that's more so on like in text messages and on Facebook.
Right. Why is that? It gives you the
option because you can like it or you can like it a lot where you love it.
Because the heart symbolizes love. So and when you do it, it's red. So that symbolizes love. It's weird that it's not a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
There is a thumbs up or it's a heart.
I'm talking about when you're liking a post.
Oh, right. But I was thinking on Facebook.
Instead of the double, on Facebook, but not on Instagram, you got to double tap or just hit the heart.
Yeah.
But there's no thumbs up or thumbs down.
It's just you like it or you don't.
Right.
And in text.
Now, is that because of the algorithm? It doesn't want the person to know that you thumbs down their picture? Because they don't, because they don't even have to get that data that you thumbs down their picture, right?
I mean, yeah, they do. You know when somebody has liked a post.
No, but Instagram doesn't have to give them that data.
They don't, but I mean, why would it be there if they're not going to let the person know?
So you can do it. You can put in, so the stuff you like, you thumbs up and thumbs down sets your algorithm. So the stuff
similar to like Pandora.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then you won't see that kind of stuff.
You don't hear that kind of stuff on your timeline, but it doesn't have to let the person know who posted it that you thumbs them down.
But when you say here, that's so you figure not everything is audio. It could be a picture.
You're talking about Pandora
in
that sense, but I'm talking about in pictures on Instagram.
So what I'm saying is, how can the algorithm be set that way if you thumbs down a picture?
Then you don't see pictures like that, say if it's a naked girl.
Right, but what if it's a friend that has a dress on and you just don't like the dress? then how would you like? So how would it benefit? And probably for the techies, it's probably too convoluted. If they're not sharing the data, then why have it there? If they're not gonna say this many people liked your post, this many people didn't like your post, then why have it there? So
circle back. What is love to
love? Love is a feeling. Love for me is a verb and a noun. It's a feeling of admiration, a feeling of care, a feeling of approval, desire for something that you have. Now, in action, love is taking care of someone, providing for them, teaching them, guiding them. Like, so it's people always say love is a verb, love is an action word. Yeah, you can love on somebody, but it's also a noun. You can love somebody, have love for somebody. And it's complex because there are different levels of love. Like, my love for you is different than my love for my friends, and my love for our kids are different than my love for myself.
I agree wholeheartedly and disagree with your point. And love isn't an action word, because even on levels, whether you loving on your husband or loving on a friend, you have to do things in an action to show that love to a friend in whatever way, on whatever level, and show that love to a husband. So loving on somebody, like you can like a husband or something, is different. But if it's a friend, you still got to show up and be active in that friendship to show love. So you still got to put action in.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is an action word. Like, love is a thing that you like. You can't just say I love you, but you don't do the things to show somebody that you love them.
In either sense, husband or friendship.
Right, exactly. Husband, friendship, yourself.
Right.
Kids, I can't say I love Mackenzie, I love Aubrey, I love Madison, I love Walia, I love Mason, and I don't feed into them to help them grow, to help them
just
learn,
to show them that I love them.
To show them that I love them, to show them that I enjoy being with them and spending time with them. Like, you have to do the things. If I hurt you, and this is an interesting question because this was posed to me a little while ago. If I hurt you, how can I love you? And sometimes that hurt may not be intentional, but if it's repeated, then you have to think to yourself. So in terms of kids, if I love our kids, then I'm going to make sure I don't do anything that will hurt them or put them in danger.
So again, I disagree that love is the action word. I don't think it's a noun. But that don't mean
you don't think it's a noun ever?
No, I think it's an action word. I think in any sense you have to do something to show love.
Okay.
So in that sense, to me, it's an action word. If you're dealing with two different genders or the same gender, and you're showing love in a lover way, a marital sense, or a boyfriend and girlfriend sense, what is too soon? Is it too soon to say you love somebody, or is it a thing at all? Can it be like, and we know that there's couples out there that met on the first date, and some people, it's weird to me, but got married in a week and been together for 30 years.
Right.
And you had to learn each other, of course, as you went on, and you dealt with it. And then there's people out there that took the amount of time that whatever it took to get to the marriage point, or the love point. But what is there a thing? Is there a time limit? Should you not tell a person that you love them if you've been dating them for 2 weeks? Because as a person of age, and a person, like, say early in your life, in your teens, in your early 20s, you don't know much. You got no experience. But say you're in your 40s, you kind of know what love is. So you know the initial relationship, the initial confrontation between y'all is kind of like y'all representative. It's not really what it is. It's the puppy love. And you know that from being young. So don't be in your 40s and be like, damn, I feel this strong desire. You know what that is. It's lust, it's sex, it's this, it's that. You really, really like this person. But so take that in for what it is, but don't just be like, I love you.
You know what is weird, because Sierra had mentioned something. She was saying how sometimes people in new relationships, sometimes people can love bomb you, and that was the first time I ever heard that. And she was like, you have to kind of take a step back and like, okay, let's say you've been talking to somebody for a month or so and you got all these emotions, and it's like, oh my goodness, she's so perfect or he's so perfect, she does this, she says this, all the right things, he's doing this, he's showing up. And she was like, sometimes you got to take a step back and think, is this person love bombing me? Which ties into what you said. Is this that early onset of
you want to do
their
your best.
representative?
Yeah, you want to do your best to show this person,
But,
I'm a good person,
right.
a good guy, a good girl.
And are you able to sustain this though? That's the most important piece. So when you say what's too soon, I really think it's subjective. I do think some people find themselves in situations of wanting to be loved, wanting themselves to be loved so badly that they project that onto someone else because they want it in return.
So they let the lonely blind them.
Right.
They let the loneliness blind them.
And when you said, when you're in your 20s, you don't really know, and in your 40s, you do. Sometimes that's not always true. I found with myself, I feel like I'm always, I don't want to say always. There have been times as I get older where I can think like, okay, I know what love is. Like, even if it's between us, even if it's, with friends. I think more so with friends recently, where I had to realize that people who can love you differently. Like, you can show up for people in different ways.
They love you the way they know how.
Right.
Everybody don't love you the way you need to.
But I'm talking about for myself, like me loving people. Like you may not always have to be physically present to be there for people, or you may not always have to communicate verbally to still love people. So I think, like you said, being 40 or older, you are still learning. Like, love, it's kind of like a flower, like an onion constantly peeling back, because there's always layers to it. I think you learn more about yourself and what you need and how you love and what love fulfills you. But I think it's like one of those evolving things, because what I may have needed at 30 to feel loved, or how I may have shown my love at 30 is different than at 40. And it may still be different at 50.
A line there though, when you say, I don't have to be present, or I don't have to, like that. That's subjective to me, because again, love to me is an action word. So maybe it's that relationship isn't love if I can't be present in it.
I should have said in every moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have. I don't mean never present.
I was ready to say, because I'd have a relationship that I don't necessarily have to show up and be present in, then it's not really love to me. Like, it's just we fuck with each other, but not love.
Right.
Love. And again, when you in your 20s, you have nothing to pull from. So that's what I meant as far as you, like, not friendship love, but like you meet a guy, you meet a girl, a guy, a girl, whatever the sense may be, and you just don't have nothing to pull from, and you got this new emotion. It's all up in you. Your stuff is tingling, and you just like, damn, I love this person. But it seems like when you get older, you've been through some relationships, or you had your heart broke before. And I think that's what does it, because you pull from that and say, nah, I know what this puppy love is. I know what the beginning, no, not necessarily puppy love, because in your 40s it ain't puppy love, but you know what the beginning is. If you're a woman of some stature and you meet a guy and you like, damn, he fine, he got car, job, you kind of want to get into that first before you think to yourself, because you start thinking, damn, is it too good to be true? Is he a rapist? Is he a woman beater? Like, like all kinds of stuff could happen. So you just want to be careful. And I think you have the mindset, if you've been through relationships, to pull from experiences to be like, you don't tell nobody you love them in 2 weeks.
Right, but
what's that say to the couple? Yeah, what's that say to the couples out there who gonna say, nah, I told my husband or my wife I loved her in 2 weeks, and we've been married for 20 years.
And I think it's one of those things. There's no right or wrong answer. No, let me not say that.
So there's no too soon to answer the question.
Right, there's no
That's
too
not a
soon.
Thing. So one day you can say I love you. We go out and have a fucking bomb ass day, a bomb ass 12 hours that we linked up together. I drop you off. You can be like, I love that motherfucker.
You know what? I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna ask a follow-up question to that. Do you think you could stop loving somebody?
Yeah, because love is an action word to me. So if you stop putting the action in of showing love, then yeah, you can stop loving somebody.
So that's where I think why I say, to me, I think love is an action word. It's a verb and a noun. Because when I say stop loving them, do you think that your emotions towards that person can change, where you no longer feel the same love and admiration for that person? And not necessarily saying something bad happened, but it just, something bad could happen or it could fade away. So, and the reason why I ask that is because let's say you have a date, right? And like, this is an amazing date. Like, y'all go to dinner, maybe you take a walk in the park.
I get it.
Amazing, and you may have some conversation that touch you at different levels in your soul than you ever imagined. And at the end of the night, you might be thinking like, this lady was like sent from heaven. Like, I love, like, you may just feel in your bones like, I love her. Like, her conversation, the connection just may be there. And but let's say, 6 months from now, things just fade away. Did you never really love her?
No, you didn't, because what you knew of her, you love that.
Well, that's all you can love as what you know. But
that's what I'm saying. You can't. For me, in my experience with love and being in love more than one time, it's with having that experience, you can't love somebody the first time. Like, if you don't know them, you can't love them.
But even at the point, okay, let's just use us for an example. When we first got together, I was 19, you were 24. Then we kind of went our separate ways. But when we were like solidified, I was 20, you were 25. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was about to be 21. So at that time, of course you didn't tell me you loved me the first day. What, maybe 2 months went by? Maybe, let's say
you can't use us though, babe, because we have history.
But no, but just go with me though. I'm not talking about the time frame though, but just go with me. Let's say 3 months you told me you love me.
I don't know. I don't remember. I smoke a lot, babe. I don't know. You would know.
I really don't remember, but I'm just gonna say 3 months. Okay. It might have been sooner, but I'm gonna just say 3 months.
Could have been 3 weeks, but go ahead.
It could have been, but it was within the first year.
Okay.
You didn't know everything about me in that first year.
No, but I knew. We had history. I knew you in a sense. You wasn't a new person to me.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you wasn't a new
person that moved in with me, and I only seen and known you for 90 days. No, I knew you since.
You knew me?
I knew you since you were a little girl.
Right, but I guess the point I was trying to make,
we've been in the same rooms together. We've you know what I'm saying? Like, there's history there. So I guess you can't use you. If I met Keisha on the street and we was hooked up and we got together and we had a good 2 weeks together, and she was like, I'm about to move, and it was like, all right, why don't you move in with me? I just got an apartment, and she moved in, and like, there's no way I could tell her I love her because I don't know her.
Okay, so let's think about this same scenario. You meet somebody, and let's say you tell them that you love them within 6 months, right? That you think that's enough time?
Maybe.
Okay, a year. Can you love her in a year?
Yeah.
Okay, but do you feel like, the point I'm trying to make, you say you don't know everything about you don't know enough about this person in a day or in a week or in 2 weeks. Do you think you know everything about that person in a year, or you feel like at that point you know enough?
Because I think you're moving the goalpost because you're using words like everything. It's enough might be enough for you to know, okay, I'm comfortable in this feeling. When she comes around, she's a person I need to see, or he's a person I need to see every day. I want to talk to him. I get excited when I know I'm going to talk to him or be with him. That when you sit with that for a while and that's comfortable to you, then you can call that love. But to know somebody and you had a great 12 hours with them, to be like, I love this person. No, what you know about them in that 12 hours, that's what you love. But you don't know how they are the next day. You don't know how they are in the morning when they wake up. You don't know if they coming home at night. You don't know what type of person is their slob.
You could love the conversation that you had. You could love the experience that you had. You could love the interaction.
And the most important thing, what if you talk to them the next day and realize, like, they not smart? I can't talk to them. Like, this person is not.
So I
you know
agree
what I'm saying?
with
Like,
you.
conversation is the most important thing. Like,
I
can't even have a regular conversation with you without you saying something stupid. Like,
I agree with you. A day, a week. I think maybe even a month is too soon. But what I will say, people should use their best judgment. And
there's no answer for how soon is too soon.
I don't think there is.
I think there is. I just don't know what it is.
Well, I was going to say, I think some intervals can be determined as too soon. Again, a day, a week, a month. Maybe even 2 months might be too soon, but I don't know that 3 months is too. I can't say 3 months is too soon. I can't say 6 months is too soon. So while yes, I think there is a too soon, I just don't know what the time frame is.
So we're
but
on the same
what I
page.
will say is, I think if you are a mature adult, you're in a relationship with somebody, and you look within yourself and you kind of figure out what is love to you, the boxes that this person checks for you, any red flags. And I think we all have red flags in some aspect, but are they red flags that can be removed, or they're red flags that's like, oh, absolutely not? Then what I do strongly believe, once you've done that kind of self-evaluation, and if you feel like, it's a positive situation, I don't think you should hold out on telling somebody you love them if it is a true feeling.
If you love somebody, tell them you love them. That's her personal opinion. My personal opinion is love to me is an action word, and it comes with consistency. And if things have to be consistent, and I don't know what that time frame is, whether it's a few weeks, a few months, a year, but there has to be consistency with your behavior, the way you treat me, the way you make me feel, for me to say I love you.
Right.
That's what
I don't think I would want to be somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend and you don't tell me you love me for a year. That's a lot of time.
Is unconditional love real?
I think it is. I would like to think that it is. Let me say that.
That would be a female's answer.
I would like to think that it is. Like, again, when I think about our kids, I think like I have unconditional love for them. Does it mean I'm always going to like what they do? Does it mean I'm always going to approve of their decisions? Does it mean they're never going to disappoint me? No, but will my love for them ever change? And I feel the same for you. Like, God forbid something horrific happens between us. I don't think there's anything you could do that would stop me from loving you. Now, could it stop me from liking you? Could it stop me from wanting anything to do with you? But I think my love for you would still be there, even if it was like, I don't want nothing to do with you. I love you. I'm going to pray for you. I hope all is well. I wish you the best. So I do think in that sense, unconditional love can be real.
I think for women and dogs, it's real. For men, it's not real.
Oh, you think, dogs love unconditionally. Okay.
And for women and children, yes, it can be unconditional because, yes, you could have a child and, everybody love their kids and you just have that unconditional love for them. Now, there's variables that can be thrown into that. Now, just speaking about children, what if your child is Ted Bundy? What if your child is Charles Manson? What if your child raped 14 women? So there's variables that go into would you still have unconditional love. But for a man, I think there's a standard. Men don't get unconditional love unless it's conditional. Like, men have to provide, have security, and do things to be loved unconditionally. If we don't show up and provide, then like no woman wants a man that doesn't do anything for them. So
just because she doesn't want you doesn't mean she don't love you.
That's just something you say. That's just something you say. But if you don't want me and I'm not doing anything for you and I'm treating you bad, then you don't love on me the way that love is supposed to be. So those things evaporate, the sex and the way that you love on me and all that stuff. So are you really showing love? That's just something you saying. Oh, I love him. Like,
doesn't mean that her heart doesn't truly love you just because.
Let's just say you was in love or you was married for 5 years before you met me, and your husband used to knock you upside your head, but you loved him. Like, you can't say after 20 years with me and I got you out of an abusive relationship, you still would say, oh, I still love him?
No, I'm not saying that every relationship has.
But I'm just saying, what if that was like your first love and it was just like, okay, I didn't know that I was going into a marriage where I was going to get beat up. Like, I really loved this man. Like, he was my boo. And I loved him until he put his hands on me. Now, I told him I loved him unconditionally until that happened. But now I get a new husband. I spent 20 years with him. Am I still supposed to feel in my heart, yeah, I got love for him, even though he kicked my ass? Like, I still got love because I told him that one time, I love you unconditionally.
Well, you said, am I still supposed to? I don't think you're supposed to do anything. But
I'm asking, is it there?
I think for some women, unfortunately, it may be. They may not know how to disconnect. That's why I asked you earlier, do you think you could stop loving somebody? Do you think, and then you have to think to yourself too, was that authentic love? Was it real? Did I think I loved that person? So again, that's why I say I think unconditional love can be a thing.
Not for men.
I don't agree.
I think men have to show up. There's no man that's just loved on this planet just because he's loved.
I don't think there's no I think only children are loved on unconditionally just because. No, like, women have to do things to earn love as well.
There's wives out here that don't do shit that's loved.
At some point they earned that love. They didn't just show up and like, hey, I'm at your door, love me.
Hey, I don't know that. I'm just saying there's wives out here that don't do shit that's loved. You already asked, can you stop loving a person? Can somebody really love you if they keep hurting?
But wait. Do you think, so you said yes, you can stop loving a person?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the question before this one.
I know, I didn't remember what your answer was.
Yeah, you can stop loving a person. You can, like I said, you could be with a person at 15 years old and you love them. That's your first love. But that don't mean you still love them when you're 40 and you 30 years removed from that relationship or 25 years removed from that relationship. That don't mean, okay, I still love that person. He was my first love. Like, no, that love is dissolved. It's gone. It was there, probably was there a little bit after the relationship, but don't tell me it's still there 25 years later.
So how do you delineate between loving somebody and just caring about them?
You can, again, I think it's just something that you say. Like, you can care about somebody and be like, I don't want nothing bad to happen. Like, that's what we do as humans, or what we're supposed to do anyway, is care about humans. Like, regardless, that person didn't never physically hurt me. So I don't want nothing bad to happen to him. I hope, I care that if he's in the hospital or died or something like that, and it's like, damn, I had a relationship with that person. He died or she died. Like, that's fucked up.
Right.
That's caring. That's having empathy. But to that person died and you 25 years removed from that relationship and you breaking down in the room crying, you out of the pocket. But
there are different types of love because, like you said, as humans, we're supposed to care. And I know this isn't a religious show, but as what God says is that we are supposed to love everyone. We're supposed to love everyone as God has loved us. But then I think that's where you have to decipher between the type of love. Like, love your neighbor, meaning just people in general. Have love for them in a way that you're kind and you won't hurt them and you won't do anything wrong to them.
It's different from love your spouse.
Exactly. It's not that romantic love or what people refer to as like agape love. It's not the same love, but we are supposed to love everyone. And that, I think that mentality just helps drive you as a person. It's not saying, oh, you got to go out here and be careless with your love, but it just should drive you like, I'm going to love on people so that I'm not going to steal, I'm not going to hurt them, I'm not going to be mean, I'm not going to do
I'm not going to manipulate people. Like, I'm going to wish people the best. Even I heard Allen Iverson say something like that. Like, a person said to him, I don't know nobody that hates AI. And he said, shit, I do. And when I do see him, I just say, hey, how you doing? Everything good with you? God bless. Like, that's caring. And even if somebody hates you, you just love on them back.
Right.
And that takes a a certain mentality, and that's a way to move through life. Like I commend that. Like, you know, people don't fuck with you, but you still, when you see them or come across their path, you know they ice grilling you, but you like, hey, what's up? You good? Your family good?
And I think it's a mental thing. It just keeps you in a mental space of like,
you keep that person
I'm not
mad.
letting their energy impact
Exactly.
me. I'm not allowing their hatred towards me. Like, I'm just going to be my friendly self. Not even friendly. I'm just going to be myself.
And they're pissed and stewing in it because what they're trying to project is just bouncing off you.
And it's not reciprocated.
No, it's just bouncing off you.
Yeah.
Can somebody really love you if they keep hurting you?
So yeah, so this was the question. And you know, initially my response to this was yes, because, you know, people can, like you said earlier, just because some people love you the best way they know how, it doesn't mean that it has to be enough for you or that you have to accept it, but it doesn't mean that they don't love you. But then you have to think to yourself, if you're in a situation where you're communicating to that person, like, when you do this, this is how I feel. When you do this, this hurts me. When you do this, this causes me pain. If they really loved you, like you said, love being an action word, then you can't just continue to use the rationale of, oh, well, this is how I love. This is the best way I know how. Or, you know, this is how I do things. Because that love,
information.
Right, that love that you're supposed to have for me would drive you to make the changes that I'm letting you know that I need so that you don't hurt
me. But you have to require it, though. You can just say it to a man and that's just in one ear and out the other. If you don't make it your standard, then if that will be the telltale if he is willing to commit to what you're asking for into the relationship. If you make that a requirement, you can just say, okay, this is when you curse, you know, that hurts me, or when you holler, that hurts me. But it's like, okay, I've done that before and nothing really happens. But if you make it a requirement, like, no, shit stops in its tracks. Like, no, you cannot holler at me. You cannot curse at me. Then it's like, okay, am I willing to fucking do that? Like, okay, I love her that much. Like, let me just do that. But if it's not a requirement, men aren't going to rise to it. Real men, anyway.
So you automatically applied that in a romantic situation because you went to saying like what a man wouldn't do. What about in a familial relationship? How is it the same where, like, you know, let's say a parent who may be abusive towards a child. Would you say you absolutely can't love that child if you're hurting that child?
Again, I think it's all projecting. You're beating that child because something's wrong with you. Something happened to you and you're fucked up in your life and your mental, and you're taking it out on the child. So I don't necessarily think you don't love the child. I don't think you love yourself if you beat on kids. That's another level than you acting out on adults, a person that's equal to you. Like, if you was just a fucking guy who got in fights all the time when you was with friends and people, then it's like, okay, this person is ticked in the head, but he don't give a shit who he fight. But if you beat on kids, like, that's some next level shit for me.
Yeah,
kids can't fight back.
And abuse, and when I say abuse, maybe not necessarily physical. There are other ways to emotional abuse. I don't even know any numbers, and I don't want to put no wrong statistics out there. But emotional abuse may be more prevalent than physical abuse because people know physical abuse leaves signs, and physical abuse is very intentional.
Yes.
Whereas emotional abuse may not even be intentional, but it's happening. You're doing it.
But it's very intentional emotional abuse. When people want to fuck with you mentally and mind fuck you, they know what the fuck they're doing. A person want to be mean to you but not beat you, a mean aunt or a mean uncle, and they want to fuck with you and not put hands on you, they know how to do it, and it's very intentional.
Yeah, you made a good point though when you said as a thinking of an abusive parent, they may not love themselves or know what love is, and it made me just think about people in general. When you say people say I love you too soon, or people do things, I think that might be part of it, that so many people are not shown pure love. You know, so many people grow up in households where they're not hugged, where they don't hear I love you, where, you know, they just don't have that emotional connection. So their idea of what love is or what love should be is, for women, buying me things means you love me. Or for some women, you know, wanting their bodies means you love me.
That's a love language.
But
so you can, a woman, that's like an out, and it's not necessarily, it's like I don't necessarily think it's an out, but it's a part of love. Like it's a love language for a person to buy you stuff, for you to want gifts. So you can say, okay, because I want you to do stuff for me, that's the way I receive love.
But there are some women who solely want that, and like they don't even consider. So somebody posted something on social media before, like somebody wanted to go on a date with them or something, and their question was like, I mean, their response was something like, you know, we can go out or whatever, but my time ain't free. And I was confused by it, like, so is somebody paying you to take you? And maybe this is this new age mentality, but it's like somebody wants to take you on a date. My assumption is that they're paying for the date if they're asking to take you on a date. But are you also asking them to pay you? Like,
like
what does that mean?
Some girls want to be flown. You just got to read social media, babe. You out the game.
I am out the game, and I don't want no part to the game.
I'm outside.
You ain't outside.
I'm outside.
You in the house. You ain't outside. and nobody's outside.
Want you to fly them out.
Oh, I know they want to get flued out. That I know.
They want to get flued out. They want to get steak 48, you know, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. They want the Four Seasons or your crib, and they want to leave with 5 stacks.
I see. That's
they
the
want
part
you to take them shopping in the morning.
That's the part that those. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all want nice things. I want a nice.
All that for some snack, for some, you know, Gucci.
But I want nice experiences, nice dates. Even if just thinking about when you stipulate
it like that, it's like fuck no.
Yeah, that's fuck what throws me. It's like, okay, if you're asking me on a date, yeah, I want to get dressed. If you want to fly me to Miami for lunch, I'm all for it. Like if we want to go on a nice date, but I don't get if part of the date is taking me shopping, thanks. But to have the expectation of, oh, if you want to date me, I need some money too. Or if we've been, that talking stage for, 2 weeks, like, my car note due, and the expectation like of a man doing that. And I think to myself, have I played the game wrong?
No, it's
because
like
I wasn't.
that person got the game fucked up. I would tell him, you got the game fucked up. But that person is like, lives under a rock. Like, if you never heard of the word gold digger, like, do you not know the connotation around? In this society, like, women don't want to do that and be like, you got to get to know a person. Yeah, all this shit comes with me. But do you love me for me, or do you just like, hey, yo, buy me shit? Like, that's not
like. But I think part of the problem
because you're not gonna be my wife. You're not gonna be my girl. And first off, I'm not gonna buy you shit.
But I think part of the problem is there are men that are obliging these requests, and maybe in their minds they think, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm cheap, or I don't want to seem like I'm the brokey.
But that's insecure. So you want to throw your money around. Maybe you got a little penis. I don't know. But there's a lot of reasons why men, what do you call it? Overcompensate for shit like that.
I like that word though, overcompensate.
Made it up.
Yeah.
We're gonna
put that in the fine. Yeah. We're gonna use it like TikTokery. It's
gonna be in an Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, like TikTokery.
Okay, we talked about love. Love ties. This is what's your beef. Love ties into what's my beef, because my beef is a 12-year-old boy was shot by the police a week ago, and he was shot by ununiformed cops in plain clothes. So not ununiformed, but in plain clothes cops. His name was Thomas Sedario, and he was 14. And
I just said 12.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was 12 years old, and he shot at the cops 4 times. And it's like, that's one of them situations that make you think, what the fuck are we doing with the kids, where a 12-year-old is not loved on to the point where, like, I start thinking about our kids, like being 12 years old and you carrying a gun, and not only carrying a gun, you crazy enough to shoot at fucking cops?
Yeah.
Like, they got out the car and killed them.
Yeah, and you
like, and it's one of them situations where it ain't like national news or, you know, cops kill a black kid or
Spanish boy. I think,
yeah, a Spanish boy. It's not one of them George Floyd situations, but it's like, damn, he was shooting at the police.
Yeah, so I don't know if you had these additional details. The cop is being fired. And it's one of those things where in this situation, the boy was completely wrong. The cop's actions were completely wrong. And I am in no way justifying his actions, but this is why I would never be a cop, because I can understand like the anger that probably went into it. So basically, you know, he chased the boy, he shot him in the back, and they actually said he was shot in the back at point blank range. And it's supposedly the boy no longer had the gun in his hand.
That's
but with
at one
all
point.
that being
That's at one
said,
point. With the details in the case,
yeah,
they said that the boy was standing on the corner with a 17-year-old boy. Well, two 17-year-old boys were standing on the corner. The 14-year-old was on the other corner.
12-year-old.
The 12-year-old was on the other corner. I'm sorry. The cops was in an unmarked car. They cut their red and blue light on to pull up to the corner with a 17-year-old. As they rode past him, he shot through the back window.
Right.
And tried to shoot like.
So that's what I'm saying. I understand their anger and frustration, like chasing them, like, you shot at me.
There's
and
cops
actually,
in the back seat. Like,
and actually one of them was injured and had like from the glass or whatever. So that's why I'm saying his actions were completely wrong. The cops' actions were completely wrong to shoot him in the back. And I think that's part of the problem with all of this violence going on. The frustration that builds up in these cops. Like, you tried to kill me.
Yes, you just tried to take me out. Like, this isn't no thing where I'm a bad cop and I did some hinky shit. Like, I'm sitting here, I drove past you and you shot the back windows out. Like, you talking about bullets, not rocks. Like, that shit could have killed them. And to jump out the car, yes, you angry, your life is in danger. This is when you're supposed to shoot.
Well, no, well, he shot him in the back at point range, and supposedly the kid no longer had the gun in his hand. So essentially looking at that, it's like, I'm shooting you for doing what you did. I was no longer in danger at that point. And again, I'm not justifying the actions on either part. It's a horrible situation because this
Love on the
kid
kids.
lost his
Love
life.
on the kids.
Yeah.
He's 12 years old and he's out there with a gun and he's wild enough to shoot at the
And
police.
he's dead.
But I've done some crazy shit in my life, and I was a stick-up kid growing up and robbing people and drug dealers and shit like that. Shoot at the cops? Nah. No. And now you can call me a rational, a thug, a rational crook, whatever. But I'm down to do a lot. I was down to do a lot of shit. But shoot at the police? Nah. Nah, not doing that. Like, you never get the fuck out of jail or they gonna kill you. Like, no, not doing that. I'll take my chances with this drug dealer dude over here, but nah, I'm not shooting at the fucking police. That's insane to me. And it was insane to me in the 90s. But to think now in 2022, like a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think about our niece, Maddie just turned 14. So to think somebody 2 years younger than
to
her.
look at Will Lair now, he's 18?
17.
He's 17. To look at him when he was 12, to think he would got killed by a cop.
Or Aubrey's 9, so somebody
To get
3
that
years
call
older.
to be like he got killed by a cop. Why? Because he was shooting at him?
You got to think as a parent, where did I go wrong? And I will say, there are some situations where you got some kids out here who are just bad. But at 12, that kid can still be punished. That kid can still be wrangled in. It ain't like, okay, he's 17, 18, and he just wilding out.
No,
at
he's
12,
on the way to being a juvenile lifer
baby.
is what he's on his way to doing. He's on his way to being 13 or being 12 years old and doing 60 years. And
well, at
getting
this
out when
point,
he's
he's
72.
dead.
I'm just saying, that's the kind of shit you're on your way to. Like, or in a box and dead. Like, and that's all because I'm sure he didn't have the guidance. Maybe a dad, an uncle, some mentor, a mom. I don't know. Like, but 12 years old out there wild like that, that's just crazy. Maybe I'm just getting old. Like,
no, 12,
it's just crazy.
12 is
12
young.
seems super young.
12, and then I don't know if you, well, I don't want to, I don't know what your grams are, but let me just give you my beef real fast. So this is, y'all probably gonna think this is personal because of my baby, and maybe it is. I'll be completely honest, maybe it is. But there's a meme or like a thing that's circulating where people are saying like, we need all the black men to stop trying to start a podcast and go out here and be truck drivers or something like that. Or we need, like, it's just kind of like making a joke, like, now everybody want to have a podcast. We need other people to do other jobs. We need bus drivers. And it bothers me. Like I said, I'll be, because my baby, here we are, podcast. But not only that, it's one of them things where it's like, it's always us against us. So what, black men, primarily, it ain't just black men though, because we have Gary Owen, there's the Joe Rogans of the world, there's the Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz. I've almost had it. Andrew Schultz, who I love Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne the Guy and Andrew Schultz. There's countless, the Logan Paul dude or something like that. There's countless white people. But again, I know this meme was created by a black person. It's always us against us. So what, black men are finding a new avenue for to have a platform, whether it's to talk about financial literacy, whether it's to talk about culture, whether it's to talk about black love or whatever the hell they want to talk about. So what, they're finding a platform. It doesn't mean they're not doing other jobs, because my husband is a master carpenter for the last 23 years and still has a podcast. There's people that are bus drivers and still have a podcast. There's people that have careers that span the globe and still have a podcast. They found a way to have a voice talking about mental wellness, just things to help improve people's livelihood, to make people laugh. There are some podcasts out here that are very demeaning towards women, and we're not going to get into that. But stop always coming at our black men because they found their way into something that, before you would have these industries, communications and media that was full of white people. We would only be on the radio and stuff like that if it was sports or hip hop. But now we're finding ways to make money and finding ways to increase our generational wealth by having other means. Stop always downing us. Like, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
That's my beef.
And that's to piggyback on that. There was a recording today I saw on Instagram of two girls on a podcast talking about the James Harden, his trade, and he came to Philly, and they was like, yeah, did you see who got traded to the Sixers? And the girl was like, James Harden. And she was like, yeah, aren't we done with men with beards? Like, aren't we done with that? Like, can men with beards just go away now? Like, he got chicken in his beard.
Oh, that was the ladies, and they're grown. They're like 50.
And it was like,
that was the ladies from Real Housewives
of
Potomac.
I was like, what the hell? Like, that's what people think now? Like,
so demeaning. They were saying like it smelled like a 40, or if they can already smell the weed. Mm-hmm. You want your man to have a bald face, then fine, enjoy it. I like my man with a beard. He takes care of his beard just like we take care of our hair, like with premier products. Like, yeah, people just find anything to say. Everything ain't for everybody. Some women don't like beards or mustaches or any of that. He better not walk in here with a bare face. Like, to each their own. Stop always downing us.
3 grams. Brittany Griner, basketball player, WNBA player, played for the Phoenix Mercury, got locked up in Russia in February. Well, she got locked up in Moscow at an airport, but for some shit that happened in February where she had some hashish oil in her bag.
So I've been hearing different versions of this. Like, she had a vape pen and it had THC in it and all that. And
like the things I used to smoke.
Right, and I'm assuming that that's illegal over there. And then some people,
I think everything's illegal.
I don't know. And then some people are saying, are we sure she wasn't kidnapped, or they just trying to prove a point because of the current political situation?
It could be, but they haven't seen her since she was arrested. I think it was like 10 days ago or something like that. They haven't seen her in public. They haven't shown her. Nobody knows where she's at. No communication.
It reminds me of that show Locked Up Abroad.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
I think the embassy, not the embassy, but some type of government group was trying to make some, not demands, but file some paperwork to see what was up with her. But she's facing up to 10 years. You're talking about fucking Putin in Russia. Like, that's like, nobody want to go to jail in Russia. Like, nobody want to go to jail in Mexico.
Especially an American, especially a black American, a black female American, a black
gay.
lesbian American. Yeah.
Like, that's not cool at all.
That's
like,
scary. It's sad. I think it should be a reminder to people, like, when it's just, I don't want to say it's not that serious, because I know there are some people that need marijuana for medicinal purposes. And she might feel like, oh, this ain't her first time. Maybe she snuck it through before, but you just gotta
I hear a lot of people who say, you know, they bring weed through TSA all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I hear lots of people who ask me, yo, you didn't bring no weed back from... I'm like, no, fuck no. Like, I didn't bring no weed back from California. Or you can do that? Like, no. I'll tell you off air. But, yeah, I ain't doing no shit like that. Like, that's just... It's like a person who plays basketball and gets paid money, and you know they about to drug test you. It's like you can't stop to save your money. And for me, it's like you can't not smoke weed at the fucking airport just so you can get on the plane, and then when you land, you can smoke weed again. Like,
some people have really bad anxiety, but at the same time, is it worth your freedom? Which in this case,
smoke up before you go in there.
Yeah.
Extra smoke up before you go in there. Like, you're gonna be in there for 3, 4, 5 hours. Like, extra smoke up.
Can I
take some edibles, get a tincture or some shit, but you can't take fucking vape in the airport.
Right. Can I take a detour for a minute since you're talking about WNBA? I just want to ask you a question.
What's up?
So
a sports question?
Yeah.
Oh shit, from you?
A couple weeks ago, I heard a story about there was a victory for the women's soccer league where they approved them to be paid at the same they won a lawsuit to be paid at the same salary levels as men's soccer players.
Like some millions of dollars, 11 of them.
But basically, what I'm saying is their salaries will be equal to or equitable with men in the league. So of course, based on their skill and experience.
No, you misunderstood that. You're talking about the NBA players make 30 to 40.
No, I said soccer.
Oh, okay. All right.
This happened with soccer.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry.
So that leads to my question: do you think that would ever happen with the WNBA?
No.
Okay.
No, not happening with the WNBA because it's about revenue, and a lot of the WNBA games are good, but they're not, and the players are known, the women are known, and it's good basketball, but they don't draw the seats that NBA does, that the men basketball do. They're not flying down and dunking and crossing people over and shooting from half court. Like, they're playing basketball, kind of like basketball was invented.
Do you think that has something to do with the corporation not pushing it like they do the NBA?
Yeah, because there's no demand for it. So it's not about us pushing it. You can't fill stadiums. So, you know, if you can't fill stadiums and we can't put the games on ESPN, then there's no TV money. Then there's no money for us to pay you. The reason why the guys in the NBA make 40, 50 million a season is because the TV deals are $1 billion for 10 years. To show the games on ESPN, to show the games on TNT. So now there's revenue and all the ticket sales to pay the players those kinds of salaries. The women don't do that.
Okay, all right. Sorry to interrupt, but since you mentioned the WNBA, I wanted to ask that.
Second gram is a little bit more serious. The deaths of Brenda Lee Rawls and Laura Smith Fields. They're passing a law in Texas where the police must inform a deceased person's their family in a timely fashion. So Smithfield was found dead on December 12th after a date with a man on Bumble in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Lee Rawls was found in a man's apartment on the same day in the same city. Fields' family found out the day after, and the Rawls family, the girl was already in the morgue. So what is... And I couldn't find, like, you can't, like, Google something like that. I guess you could ask the police department. But what's the timely fashion of, and I know it's a lot going on when you find a body. You're trying to figure out the scene. You don't want people to fuck shit up. You're trying to collect evidence. You're trying to do your job. But whose job is it to say, hold up, as immediately when we find this person's ID, call their family?
So we talked about...
What's that time frame where... It can be a girl can be in the fucking morgue and her family don't know. Or a girl can be, you know, like a day go by.
So we talked about Lauren Smith Fields. This was the girl that I talked about a few weeks ago where the cops dropped the ball in Connecticut she dated the guy.
I know that's why I was bringing it up. I'm saying the law, they're passing the law.
I understand that. What I'm saying is in that situation, the other lady obviously she was in the morgue, so I don't know what they did. But in that situation, they left a note on the door that says, if you're looking for Lauren, then contact the police department. So I don't know what efforts, if any, were made to reach her family, but okay, we watch First 48 all the time. Yeah, it's TV, but it's real TV. It's not like SVU, where we see when a situation happens, they go back to the police station, whether they look up the family members, we've seen they've gone out to houses to notify people of the death. So I don't know if it's a thing where it's based per city, per police department.
Why isn't it, okay, there's a body on the ground, the cops are coming, they're coming around, the guy comes out, they're taping the stuff off, there's a dude laying there, they're writing down, like on First 48, who is he? And they reach in his pocket and see his ID. As soon as they get that, it should be a person's job to say, okay, we have the identification of this person, we wrote this down, here's his ID, go call his family or her family.
You want to know what I think? They're young black women, and the white police officers in these predominantly white areas didn't care. That's what I think. Because again, you shouldn't have to have a law. You shouldn't have to have policy implemented to say, let a family know their family member is dead. I don't care how they died, where they found them at least making an effort. Now, unfortunately, you may have some people that maybe don't have any family, or maybe it's they're distant, estranged from their family. But make an effort to contact. In that situation, in Lauren Smith, like we've seen the interview with her mom. Like we've seen, like her family was very involved in her life. That's how they found out the next day, because she wasn't answering texts. They didn't let like days go by without going to her place. That's how they check on her. Yeah, within a short amount of time, and found a note on her door. So that's my opinion. These were young black women, and nobody cared about their lives, because to so many, unfortunately, not only do black lives not matter, black women's lives don't matter.
I agree. And that's fucked up.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to say, oh, we're going to implement a law that you got to let the family know somebody's dead. Why isn't that just protocol within
because
immediately?
It's a lot going on, and I'm trying to, it is a lot. I watch First 48. It's a lot going on when they found a body on the ground. But there should be a designated job
person,
of when we pull an ID out, or a purse, or the dude's back pocket. Once we record who this is, so we can do our investigation. Whose job is it to call this person's next of kin? Like now.
That person shouldn't leave
We got
their
news
shift.
cameras and shit setting up out here.
Exactly.
We don't want them to find out this way. So let's just call them now. Like go to the sidewalk and call them and drive to their house.
I agree.
It's just crazy. We're never, ever, 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 ever staying in a fucking Airbnb. Texas Airbnb host security filmed guests having sex, and he took more than 2,000 pictures of guests butt-ass naked. He's a 54-year-old white man, and he had the place for like a year, renting it out to people, taking pictures of people having sex in all over the rooms, and people got a hint that something was fishy in there, because he told a tenant when they checked in, be comfortable. We don't care if you're in your PJs or your nude.
Yeah, like that's just a very strange thing to say to somebody. But guess what? I told you this years ago. I am not surprised. I told you this years ago. We stayed in an Airbnb one time. We stayed in an official quote unquote Airbnb. We have stayed in vacation homes, booked through VRBO or something like that several times, and really nice ones. And you don't know.
No, you don't know what's a teddy bear cam or a pillow cam or a fucking eyeball cam.
I was reading
in a light or
I was reading comments, and people were like, "This is why I searched the houses from top to bottom." Like, do you really think these people have cameras set up where you can find them? No. Like, obviously they're expert perverts, and they are making sure
expert technology.
Yeah, they are making sure that you're not gonna find the camera. It can be in an air vent where it's not visible, but it's zoomed in, but it's this far back from the vent. So no, they're
deeper
not.
Deeper than that, it could be a fucking pen laying around. It could be a number on a clock.
Yeah.
It could, the one on the clock can be a camera. Like there's
Yeah.
all kinds of shit that they can put in their house where it's a camera. Like there's picture frames that's cameras.
Yeah.
Like so it could be
I'm
anything.
not surprised. I do agree that I guess what, I ain't surprised of hotel rooms. I mean, I know they don't because it's illegal. I don't think they do.
Well, it's illegal for
I mean,
Johnny
it
Cash
is,
to do it too.
but that's a personal home as opposed to like a corporation of hotels being shut down. So I don't think they would.
So I think at that point there's some type of law that says it's not personal when you put it up to the public. You can't be recording people in the bathroom and shit having sex.
I'm not surprised, but so how do I mean? I think I would feel violated, but like, would you care?
I would want to fuck him up. I wouldn't care that he saw us having sex, but I'd be like, you pervert motherfucker. Yeah. What if I, jerked off or something? Like he.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's really horrible. Can I add an extra gram?
What?
I'm sorry, so can this be like 3.5 grams?
Right.
So I read a story about oh my God, what's the lady's name? Maybe not, because what's the lady's name from American Idol? And she just split up with her husband, and he got
Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson.
I put that in my story today.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
So, but this is my question really quickly. We don't have to get into it. Of course, he got awarded some ridiculous amount of spousal support.
$1.3 million. I think it was $46,000 for child support, $112,000 for spousal support. And then he got to get paid up to 2024.
But the 1.3 million was like a lump sum.
No, that's the whole thing.
No, he got a lump sum, and then he gets those other amounts, and he got cattle, he got some farm animals, he got some Patek Philippe's.
I don't know about none of that, but it said he got 1.3 million in child support and spousal support and something else. So maybe that was the lump. I took it as the 1.3 being all that shit being paid up to 2024.
Okay, so our interpretation was different, but my question is this: they got joint custody of the kids. If we got joint custody of the kids, why do I have to pay you child support if I'm taking care of them 50% of the time, you're taking care of them 50% of the time? So I got to pay when I'm taking care of them, and then I got to pay you to take care of them when you taking care of them, on top of paying you spousal support?
The laws is fucked up. It's like we was married, but when you did divorce, somebody got to get child support if you file that paperwork.
But I would think if you have joint custody.
He's the primary. He's letting her get 50% custody, but he's the primary, the person who has the kid. So he's the primary parent in the paperwork. He's giving her. Trader Truth just was on the Breakfast Club and said something about this with his daughter. He's going through, and it's like his wife she fucked up all the agreements like 5 or 6 times. You're supposed to meet at a certain place, pick my daughter up, and he's flying to L.A. every week just to show up, and she never comes to the airport. And if it was a man who did that, like, this is the agreement, I'm supposed to get her. You can't just not do what the paperwork says.
Right.
So he was going through the same thing, but
I mean, I get all, but I just don't the spousal support. Even though, would you ask for spousal support as a man?
No, that's why I put it in my story. I was like, damn, like.
Yeah. I mean, I
didn't want to call out men, but I just was like, damn. But because it's like that's that Mary J. Blige shit. Like, come on, like, what happened to men who stood on their own? What happened to men who provide for themselves?
Right. I mean, and like,
these people are in the industry. I think that dude's some type of producer or some shit.
I thought he was like a hockey player, but maybe so. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I get the theory is like, well, you set this level of expectation, like of this lifestyle, and now you got to help them maintain it, which is bullcrap. But okay, whatever. But I don't get the child support. If we have joint custody,
I just told you.
I hear what you're saying.
That's like for most times it goes in the woman's favor. So if you was the primary, the parent of our children, and I took you to court for half of them, and I want to see them half the time, you're still the primary. They live with you. They come to see me 50% of the time. They don't live with me. They don't reside with me. They reside with you. So you're the primary parent. So you're splitting your 100% with me. That's just how it is. It's like you're breaking it off. but they reside at your house.
If you have, I understand what you're saying, but if it's 50-50, I don't think there should be any child support. Man or
I agree with you.
woman.
I'm just saying you
If
asked the
it's
question.
like,
And that's
okay,
how
I'm
I
the primary
interpret
parent and you get visitations on the weekend, that ain't 50-50. I'm primarily taking care of the child. So I'm taking care of them more than you. So maybe I do need some assistance. But if it's 50-50...
Maybe you have a misinterpretation of what 50-50 is. I don't know if it's every other weekend, if it's I get them 6 months, you get them 6 months. Who knows? It could just be you can have them 50%. I don't know what that is. So I don't know what's designated as 50% of the time, because you would think.
Well, and it didn't say
6.
50%. It said joint custody. So I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's right, but
no, I don't think it's right either. But I think the courts are just going to go with where the kids reside at.
Yeah, $46,000 a month to take care of kids is a lot.
That's it. Act 2 the podcast, episode 61, wrapping up. Again, people, you can catch us on act2thepodcast.com. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on Google Podcasts. You can catch us on Breaker. You can catch us on Anchor. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Radio Public.
And TikTok.
That's 10. It's fucking hard. You can catch us on all them platforms. We appreciate y'all being fans. We appreciate y'all liking and sharing. Again, we kind of bare right here, but in the coming episodes, y'all going to see a little bit more liveness behind in our background. You're going to see us in different places this year. Super motivated to take the show in a different place. So we coming. Act 2 the podcast, episode 61. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, God damn it, you should.